Right, everybody. Very warm welcome to yet another international author talk series brought to you by the Ahmedabad Book Club. And we're very fortunate today to have with us Stephanie Larkin, founder and president of Red Penguin Books, with us. Before we begin, a quick glimpse of the Ahmedabad Book Club and its journey. Well, the Ahmedabad Book Club is a space where people who love literature come together to talk, to discuss, to share, and most importantly, sustain the spirit that books evoke in them. The Ahmedabad Book Club started out its journey 8 odd years ago as the brainchild of two very prominent entrepreneurs in the city of Ahmedabad, Priyanshi Patel and Khurshid Ravji. Since then, we have made various achievements, and I'm very proud to share that we have over 52,000 members who are part of this club online who help us curate to put together such events, collaborating with us, on the various efforts that we put in to promote books and its love for writing, for reading, for sharing knowledge. Stephanie, so on behalf of all those members, a very, very warm welcome.
Oh, well, thank you. I am beyond thrilled to be here.
And I'm going to take a minute here to, kind of introduce you to the audience and for all the body of work that you've completed in your journey so far. So just give me a minute here. Stephanie is, like I said, the founder and the president of the Red Penguin Books and Web Solutions, a book and web publication company for over a decade. She enjoys working with authors of all genres and specializes in working with businesses and owners, professionals, budding authors to further their careers through book publication. Red Penguin Books began with digital publications but has expanded to print and most recently audiobook production. She's worked with many writers groups, including the New York chapter of the National Writers Union, the Long Island Authors Group, on book development and marketing. She's a teacher as well. She takes sessions in the marketing department at NASU Community Marketing Professionals. She also works with several colleges in the business and entrepreneurial divisions, including the New York Institute of Technology and the very prestigious Yale University National Student Leadership Program. She is the host of television, The Author's Corner, and a chance to meet the authors you'll want to read, airing on Verizon, Optimum, and QPTV, as well as Between the Covers, the show for readers and writers and lovers of books. She's been a host of television's Technically Speaking for 7 years, an award winning educational cable TV series airing in the Queens and Long Island, which aims to demystify the technology in everyday lives and offer practical advice and tips to the technologically challenged. In addition to her publishing, Stephanie is the author of Write That Book, Write Your Book Score on social media, and 365 ways to celebrate, as well as a ghostwriter for so many publications. A mother to three beautiful children and spouse to her husband Kiran, her love for travel and her pets, who are very prominently there around her office, a very, very warm author, a brilliant entrepreneur, a lady of substance, ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie.
Oh, my goodness. Could you walk in front of me and say that all the time? That would make my life just like make me feel like the queen.
Thank you so much for taking out time. It's way early there in the States. And I'm very sure, people who are joining us today and those who will be seeing this at a later date, they'd love to know who is the true Stephanie Larkin. Just tell us a little about your childhood and where did your love for books actually begin?
Oh, well, I grew up here in New York City and really had a wonderful childhood. I absolutely did. My loves when I was younger were ballet dancing, and baton twirling. Do you know what baton twirling is? You swirl around a stick in your fingers, and I used to do that. And I was also a musician as a child and continue to be a musician now. I play the violin, the piano, and direct choirs and orchestras all over. See, fun fact you didn't know about me.
I wonder the number of things that you manage to do with the schedule that you keep. It's just fascinating. So of all the interests and all the hobbies, like you said, you had a charmed childhood, as they
I
say.
did. I'm very, very fortunate.
How and when did books become your friends?
Oh, very good question. But, I think it all stemmed from when I was a child. Unfortunately, while I was very active and athletic, I ended up with a knee. Wasn't an injury. It was actually something that I was born with that developed as a teenager. And I couldn't walk during my teenage years. I was on crutches. I had 6 operations. I can walk beautifully now, thank goodness to the wonderful surgeons at the Hospital for Special Surgery here in New York. But I spent a lot of years lying in bed and sitting around. And I think because I was in the hospital in and out so much, I began to read. I had parents who are professionals and teachers, and but being in the hospital a lot gave me a lot of time to read. It did. It also gave me time to sit around and play the violin, so that was a good thing too. But
Also,
fortunately, when I was 18, my doctors were able to get me up and walking. So while I'm sitting with you now, we could go for a jog afterwards if you want to. They were fabulous. But that's kind of where I started reading, I would say, is lying around a lot. I highly recommend it if you have to sit around.
definitely the fighter as well and the musician. Yeah? All right.
Exactly.
So tell us, about Red Penguin books. How
Sure,
did that
absolutely.
book happen?
It actually happened as a lot of our business owners happen out there completely accidentally. I find a lot of entrepreneurs, some go into it and say, I want to own a business. And I think that's fabulous. But many of us go in accidentally. And for me, it was actually accidentally. 15 years ago, my husband was having a very, very big problem with an organization he was running. My husband is a teacher and also runs speech and debate contests all over the country. So we're very big into reading and writing and speaking. And all of a sudden, they had a big problem with their website. And the person who was running their website left suddenly, and he was left holding the ball, my husband. And he said to me, can you fix it? And what do I know about websites 15 years ago? But I'm the type that I say, sure, I'll read a book. I figure you could read a book and learn anything. So I made him a new website, and somebody heard that I did this, and they said, could you make me a website? So I said, sure. And next thing I know, I'd made 5 websites, and I decided to form a corporation because why not? Let's make money. So I formed a corporation called Red Penguin Web Solutions. We were making websites for nonprofit organizations, schools, churches, businesses, and ended up the National Writers Union and lots of authors. And since we were making all their websites, we were doing their digital books, we were doing their marketing. And I said, you know what? I'm loving our authors. Let's think about doing print publications. So we moved into print. And while we used to be websites and print here, now it's like print and websites over here.
It's a complete transition, yeah?
A big transition. We still do the web, and I love it. I'm thrilled with it. But the books have kind of taken over my life, which I adore. And since then, Even my whole family has gotten involved. I have my children are working for me. My husband works for me. My mother works for me. And I have a whole staff of fabulous professionals who work either in the web division, the book division, and now we have an audiobook and podcast division. So we just keep growing, and I love it because we're getting to touch a lot of lives and help a lot of people achieve their dreams of writing and publishing books. And that's a huge dream, and I'm thrilled. So that's where it all came from. It came from an accident.
So the Red Penguin books actually started with an accident.
It started with an accident.
I've seen you so humbly put it, even on the website. So you are, very on the website, which makes it official. You're the head penguin.
I am.
At Red Penguin
In fact,
Books.
my assistant gave me a new mug.
Oh, all right. What does it say? What does it read?
He put head penguin. I am the head penguin of Red Penguin. So I just got a new mug for Christmas. So
Fantastic. I think that's really sweet of them. So tell me, what does the day in the life of Stephanie Larkin look like? Yeah?
Oh.
Run us through one day. Yeah. This is just to put into context the body of work that you do. So
sure.
I'm going to start with this. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, today I get to start by being with you, so I'm thrilled. And at this point, I'm very, very fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of help who take care of all the things I'm not really very good at, like bookkeeping and all that stuff. So I get to do things like host authors on shows and podcasts and things like that, which I absolutely love doing. We've been publishing like crazy because I think because of the lockdown, a lot of people have been writing a lot of books, which has been wonderful. So we used to publish, let's say 2 or 3 a month, and now we publish at least 2 or 3 a week. The past 2 weeks have been more like 5 books a week, just because we're getting into the holidays and people want books under the tree, I guess. So I've been busy publishing, but I do a lot of what you do, which is host authors and a lot
of host also.
Yes.
Also host authors. All right. And podcasts.
And I say I do a lot of toasting with champagne and go to book signings. That's what I get to do a lot of, which I'm thrilled.
So put this in numbers. How many books has the Red Penguin Books published so far?
Oh my gosh, I keep losing track. I just know what we published last week, and on my whiteboard over there it says what I have to get out by Wednesday. So that's what I know. I believe we're on track to publish. Well, we've already done. I mean, this month is one of our high months. I think we're up to over 20 this month alone, and it's going to go higher than that by the end of the month. So exponentially over the past several years, it's been a lot of books.
And just, so that our, people joining us know today that not only does she support, young authors, budding, fledgling authors, write books, pen thoughts down. She's written a book herself. She's an author, and she's the author of the book. Write that book. And Stephanie, I do recollect we had a chat a few days ago, and you said this to me. It really stuck. You said that if you want to change your life, write a book.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Sure. And that became our tagline. We've had a few, but changing lives, one book at a time. And you and I talked a little bit about changing lives in the world. In the world, we want to change. But when people write a book, the first life that gets changed, it's your own life. Every single author I work with, their whole life breaks up into 2 halves, before the book and after the book. Because when you write a book, first of all, you dig deep. And if you want to know who you really are, write a book. It's like the greatest therapy there is. But it also is an adventure. People I know who have written books, they've gotten to meet new people, travel. We have so many stories of authors who've met relatives they didn't know because of research on the book. that all of a sudden they have all these cousins they didn't know about, and they get to do a million things. Authors who, some of them who have never written a book before, all of a sudden they're on shows, they're going to different events, they're at book signings, their whole life is changed. So the first life that changes when you write a book, it's your life. Your life is forever different. But your message changes other people. I mean, some people write books to entertain and some to educate. But whatever your book is about, it's changing lives. So we're all about changing lives one book at a time.
So I'm gonna keep aside Stephanie, the publisher,
Okay.
the mentor. I'm speaking now to Stephanie, the author, the young author, yeah, who penned that book. So tell me, a lot of people say they hit the writer's block. They're stumped for ideas. Yeah, they're struggling day after day. They try all the funniest things in the world to kind of come up with the next line, but they just can't seem to do so.
I
So how do you get around that?
I totally understand that. And I'm one of these projects at once. So if I'm stuck on this, and I get that, sometimes you don't want to write this book. So write a different book. If you're stuck with writer's block because this is just not doing it for you right now, try something else. Work on different projects. Write some poetry, write short stories. It'll get everything flowing. But I did read a fabulous tip, and it was Ernest Hemingway, fabulous writer, of course. And he said that every night, we have a tendency as writers, we think, oh, I'll write till I get to the end of the chapter, and then I'll go to bed. Okay, he did the opposite. He would leave on his typewriter every night. He would stop in the middle of a sentence and go to bed. And the reason he did that is so that the next day when he came back, he had no writer's block because he was already in the middle of something. We have a tendency to think we should go to the end and then stop. And then it's so hard the next day, isn't it? So hard to get, you're like, oh, I don't know what's next. Well, he would just leave it hanging and pick it up. I think that's a great tip. I'm going to try that next book.
Right. That's something really interesting. I've never heard that, to be honest.
Yeah. And he's a lot
of time. So how much time do you think a budding author should give himself to write a book?
How much time?
Yes. How much time at average have you seen people write a book, especially if they're young writers for the first time, putting their thoughts down? Yeah.
Here's what I will say about that. Don't give it too much time. And the other thing I'll say is put a time on it. Too often, don't we all have projects that have been unfinished forever? And, they say a goal is a dream with a deadline. And you really should put a deadline on it. Whenever I start working with an author, the very first thing we talk about, before we even talk about the title or anything, we talk about what date do you want the party? And we pick the party date. We pick the publication date first. And if someone says to me, I want to be published for my birthday, or I want to be published for, a holiday or something like that, then we have a deadline. And then we work backwards and say, okay, you need 5 chapters a month or whatever we need to get there. But if you have a deadline, you'll do it. If there's no deadline, you'll never do anything. I don't think any of us would do anything without a deadline. So I think that a young writer, pick a date. Pick a date, whether you think it should be a month. We have books that are not finished yet. They're being published next month. Absolutely. I have a book that's being launched on January 15th. It's not written yet. That's okay. It'll be done. It will be done because there's a deadline. So pick a date, January, February. I don't know if you've ever heard of NaNoWriMo. It's this, in the month of November, everybody tries to write 50,000 words to write a novel. It can be done. So if you put a deadline on yourself, January, February, do it and just write the book.
And for those who wondering, Stephanie doesn't just say this because she's an author herself. Well, she's mentored a lot of young writers. Stephanie, you did mention to me, the Red Penguin Collection mentorship program
Yes,
that
absolutely.
is run on the ethos, changing lives one book at a time. Run us through this, the entire thought and the entire process of
Sure.
this project.
This was a program that just got launched this fall, and I am so thrilled with it. In fact, we've published every 2 weeks, so twice a month, we publish a new book on a different topic. So this one was like a trip book. This was science fiction. We have a horror book. We have a poetry book. Every 2 weeks, a different topic. And poets and writers and playwrights from all over the world are submitting short stories or poetry, and we're publishing them to encourage new writers, emerging authors. And we also have some authors who are fabulous. They've written 5 novels, but they've never tried this particular genre. So it's a fun way to get your feet wet without doing a whole book by yourself, because we're only doing 5,000 word submissions. So not a whole book. We have some authors, they're in every single one of our publications because they're using them as a writer's prompt to get going. So I've gotten to meet authors from all over the world. Some are old. We have authors who are 90 years old who are submitting, and
You
some
said
are
90? That's 90?
90. We have
Oh my.
several authors who are 90. Yes. And
And
I
do you
must
hear them
have
say
dozens
that?
who are in their 80s.
Do you hear them say they wish they'd started earlier?
You know, that's a very good question. And some, I bet, think that, but I bet they're just glad they started. And then I have plenty of students who are college or high school students. So we get from, 18 up to 80 on every single book with no problem. And we encourage our new writers. You get professional editing, you get published, you get copies. It's a great, great program for new and emerging authors. It's called the Red Penguin Collection. And I love it. I'm so thrilled we started just in September, I believe we started. And we already have out 8 publications. So it's building.
All right. So if I am a first time writer, all right, so I keep thinking I should pen a book, yeah, just like the thousands probably out
Yes,
there,
you
and
should.
I want to write something, okay, and so this is my one-on-one, personal, kind
Yeah.
of mentorship program happening over here. So suppose if I want to write something, what would my first step be before I approach the Red Penguin
Well,
publications?
if you came to me and you honestly had no idea what to write, I always put my new writers on the 20-day challenge. And the 20-day challenge is that I want you to have a stack of cards or a piece, paper, and a box. And every day you're going to write something, a sentence, a paragraph, a page, and put it in the box. Now, tomorrow, you're going to do another one and put it in the box. Don't look in the box. Now, the reason I say that is because at the end of the challenge, open the box. And I'll bet when you open that box, you're going to see like 10 of those pieces of paper say the exact same thing, because that's what you should start with. If you honestly say, I don't know, should I write about, mystery or romance or science? If you really don't know, take the 20-day challenge and every day write something and put it in the box. But if you'd like to explore a lot of different options, then please visit us to be in the Red Penguin collections, because every 2 weeks we have a new writing challenge and we can get you published. So every 2 weeks, a new challenge, write something short, no more than 5,000 words. So it could be 1 page. We have people who send 1 page, and that's
Just a page.
1 page. That's it. That's easy. One page.
Page, I think one page.
One page is doable, right? You could do one page. Anybody could. My dog could do one page.
Right. So, okay, tell me if you can recollect in specific case someone you were mentoring, and what were some challenges that he or she had to overcome to start writing?
Oh,
I hear so many people say, for example, my language skills aren't good enough. Or some say, I have, yeah, probably my language skills are okay, but I don't have the idea. So we got the answer on how to take care of the idea part, the 20-day challenge. What do you do if you aren't really adept when it comes to the language?
well, that's why we have editors. Don't worry. I always tell our writers, just let it flow. You know what everyone's biggest challenge is? Honestly, all of you, whether you're a writer or whatever you do, the biggest obstacle in your life is you. For all of us, we are our worst enemy. We always talk ourselves out of things. No matter if I wanted to try something new, my problem is not the outside world. My problem is me. And we all think that we can't do things. So for all of those people out there who think I have so many challenges, no, first your challenge is you. So if you have poor language skills, well, first of all, we have editors. That's what editors are for. You also now have a lot of computer programs that help you with that. Like, Grammarly and all these things so that you can write and it'll fix it for you. Okay. So take advantage of technology. Absolutely. But get it out first. Don't worry so much. Don't edit while you write. Please don't do that. People do that. They write one sentence and then they spend 2 hours fixing the one sentence. No, 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 no. Keep going. It can be fixed later, really.
So, is there any structure that you follow when you're writing something? Do you have a process in mind? So, say if you have to pen 2 paras, all right, do you kind of lean on a tool or something you've developed over time? Some tricks that you could share?
Well, one of the things I do with our new writers, if they have to write something big, these are one story. So this is not a big thing. But if you have to write a big book, and I often ghost write books about subjects I don't actually care about. That happens to us ghostwriters. What I do is I generally set up a book and I'll make blank sheets, like on my computer, one for each chapter, because you can think of the outline. So when I'm working with a new author, we think of the outline first, the overall structure. Because, sometimes you don't want to write sequentially. You don't want to write from the beginning and just keep going. Sometimes you want to write the end first, and that's okay. And sometimes you wake up in the morning and you have a great idea for a scene in the middle, and that's okay. Please don't think that you have to start writing at the beginning and keep writing until you get to the words, the end. That only happens in the movies. You can write the middle, the end, the beginning, the fight scene. You can jump all over the place. So I very much encourage people to have multiple files for their book, not just one, multiple. I encourage people, I'm old-fashioned. I carry index cards with me.
Even today.
Index cards in lots of colors too, and in red. And this way, if you have an idea, or a lot of people now, I teach them how to use notes. On your phone, you might have notes, and you can have multiple files. You can dictate your book. Just turn on the microphone and just start talking. And you know what your phone does? It types for you. You could do that. You could just dictate it. I've had people who have done an entire book of text messages. They just keep dictating text messages to themselves and they get a book out of it. Do it however you can. Just get it. We need to get it from our head out. If we could put a flash drive into our ear, it would be so easy. But just get it out somehow.
Wow. Stephanie, I've heard a lot of people say this. So, a book's only as good as it's spoken about. It's not really about what's inside anymore. Would you
Ooh,
agree?
ouch. I
And this is
that
because you are an author
I
as well as a publisher. So you know
know, and
both sides. Yeah.
I do understand that other side. And when I speak to authors beforehand, because you're so right that people say that. My feeling about a book, and I had mentioned that, first of all, it changes your life as an author. So, in that sense, even if no one ever read your book, you should still write your book, even if no one reads it. Now, none of us as authors want no one reading the book, but I would still encourage you to do it because it shouldn't matter. It's kind of, I always say, like playing golf. Okay. I play golf occasionally. I'm terrible. I am so bad at golf. Okay. Now, because golf, I had to get clubs, I had to take a lesson. Every time I go, it costs me money. Okay. No one is paying me to play golf. No one will ever pay me to play golf. But I do it for me. I do it because my husband and I go out on a nice day and it's a lot of fun. Okay. So even though no one pays me to do it, I still do it. And I feel the same way about books. People sometimes think unless you are selling lots of books, you are worthless. And that's not true at all. Okay. First of all, that book is an expression of you. Just like I'm not worthless because no one pays me to play golf. I do it for me. So you should write the book for you. But then if even just one person, if you get that one person who says, your book touched me, that's it, you're done. Like, that's all it's about. It's about touching one person. So don't worry about being a bestseller. Don't worry about making lots of money. It's about you, the creative art, and impacting one person. That's it. Everything else is fluff. You know what I mean by fluff? Okay. I mean, some books we have sell lots of things, lots and lots of copies. And some books, it was all about just the author wanted to do it. And that's all that matters.
Well, all right. Stephanie, I'm going to kind of shoot a few questions at you, a kind of a rapid fire.
Sure.
All right. So you're going to try your best to answer them, the questions. So you're going to answer these questions in a few words or a sentence at the max. All right.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Ready.
All right. So describe yourself in 3 words. 3 words. That's it.
3 words. Enthusiastic, celebratory. I'm big about celebrations, and high energy. Energetic. There's the go. 3 words.
Okay. Where would you go if you were invisible?
If I was invisible, ooh, oh, I want to be a fly on the wall and see. Gosh, that's a really good question. Okay. You know where I'd go if I'm invisible? I'd stay home and see what my pets do when I'm not home.
Okay. All right. That's a nice one. Okay. Um, what's been your lifelong dream? Your lifelong dream. Absolutely.
Lifelong
Something
dream.
maybe that you're yet to achieve other than Red Penguin.
Well, I love to travel. And I'm going to say that my lifelong dream is to travel to India and I can see you in person. How's that?
So, well, for the people who joining us today, we've already agreed to not only host Stephanie, but show her around and work on a collaboration, if we might, between
Absolutely.
the Red Penguin Books and Ahmedabad Book Club. And we
I
have
am
been surprised that,
do that as soon as I can.
okay, a few more coming your way, Stephanie, okay? Your favorite TV sitcom?
Favorite TV sitcom. Okay, I am totally involved with The Crown right now because, like, British royal family. Besides that, I loved The Big Bang Theory with all those smart guys on
All
it.
right. So the Big Bang Theory, your favorite, the character played in the Big Bang Theory would be who? By
Sheldon.
who?
Sheldon,
All
of
right.
course.
All right. I'd second that. All right. So I've loved the show myself. So lovely.
All right,
Okay.
so we have that.
Which is your favorite word? A word that you use a lot, or you make sure you put it in a book every single time. A favorite word.
Favorite word. I know my favorite punctuation mark is an exclamation point, always. Favorite word besides penguin? I
Besides pen and pets and pets.
Besides
Yeah.
penguin, pets, and travel, and I think I use the word wow a lot. If I look at my email, I'm constantly saying wow and congratulations because we have a lot of people we work with that I say wow, congratulations.
Okay. Um, if you had access to a time machine, yeah. So where would you want to go? Which part of time? Where
Oh,
in history or where in the future?
yeah, well, that's it. Forward or backwards? That's a good question. I think I
That's the first one.
I think I, well, I would love to go forwards because I want to see what comes next. If I'm going to go backwards, I think that I would really, really love to see. I do worry about old fashioned and the whole bathroom thing. That does concern me. I
Okay.
don't know how I would do with all of that. But I have gotten involved a lot with like British historical drama lately. So I think that I would love to check out some of that old time, like the 1800s, when they all wore the ball gowns and such. Check that out.
All right. That's nice. Okay. If you could live anywhere in the world, which place would you pick?
Well, I am so fortunate. I love where I live. I really, really do. I live here in New York. I can get around very easily. But one thing we are missing here in New York, I love nature. And we don't really have mountains and things here. So I do love where I live, but I do sneak off to the country and I'm a national park junkie. So I absolutely adore going to canyons and mountains and lakes and all those things. So I'd want to stay living here, but travel a lot.
Travel a lot. All right. So stay in New York but travel a lot. All right. Uh, as a publisher, the toughest moment you've seen at the Red Penguin Books.
Oh, toughest moment. Well, probably any time, and we've been getting this a lot because of the pandemic. If the books don't arrive in time and we have an event, that's tough. We've had that happen when, somebody is planning a big party and there's no books.
Oh,
That's a tough time. We do all sorts of crazy things to get people their books on time. I'm very fortunate here in New York that we do have some, they cost a fortune, by the way, but we do have rapid printers here. If I'm desperate and I need somebody to hold a book in their hand that day, it's going to cost me, but we can do it.
so that's your toughest one. All right. So tell me your most favorite moment at the Red Penguin Books. Your most
Well,
favorite moment.
my most favorite moment is either when we're celebrating, because I love that. Signing new authors. They're so excited. And it's just, you could see that you wouldn't believe that I'll get emails from people that say, I've had this book for 10 years that I've been thinking about. It's been in my drawer. I have 300 pieces of loose leaf. And then when they finally hold that book in their hands, oh my gosh, I love all of that. I absolutely. And we do. People who have been writing for 10 years. This book. Okay, literally
Okay.
10 years. 300 pieces of loose leaf. And now it's done. And they're thinking about making a movie out of it too.
So we have tickets to the premiere.
I better be invited to that premiere. That's for sure.
All right. So I could probably, tag along, I guess. Yes. All right. So
Absolutely. Let's all go and celebrate.
that's sweet of you. All right. So okay. So I'm going to going to jump back very quickly to the books.
Sure.
You spoke about some of these young authors. Yeah. Uh, so let me start with this. So your favorite genre for my
Well,
next question.
when I'm not on the clock, when I'm
Not on
on
the clock.
when I'm on vacation, I will honestly admit that I read romance and smut because I need to kind of relax. I read at least 5 books a week for work, at least. So
Please.
when I'm relaxing, I'm usually reading things like magazines and garbage romance just to relax.
Right. So tell me, some of the genres in which the recent books have been published. You have so many behind you. If you could pick a few,
Oh
show
my!
them to us and
Oh,
speak to us about them.
there are things about everything. We've done recently historical fiction, we've done murder, we've done paranormal romance. What do I have here? Let's see. We've done angels and demons. This is historical fiction. We have a little bit of everything going on here. And what I love is I normally wouldn't have read those kinds of things in many cases. So I get to read a little bit of everything. I don't particularly like when people are getting, that's not my style, but it is what we publish, and now I've got it kind of into it. I still like a happy ending. I always tell my authors I love a happy ending. So if everybody could please survive to the end, or at least the main character. And in my romance, I like the couple to get together. I know it can't always happen, but
like a couple of people have asked us this. So could we have some of the young authors that you've mentored to be a part of the this series that we are doing to
yes,
come and speak to our
absolutely.
viewers and people of the book club. Yes.
Yes, and we have some young authors who are working their whole life sometimes, or they're going to school and now they're writing. And I love that they're writing. And some of our authors are young. We have authors, I told you, we have some 90-year-old authors too. So we have young authors who are just getting started, and some of them are poets and playwrights as well. And I'm so excited to get them out there and printed. So I shared some of those with you that I wanted to share across the pond and get them noticed and get going. This is one who she had never written before, and now she's up to 3 books with more coming. All about, if you're into angels and demons and the backstory on heaven and hell, this is it. We have authors who are writing about times in history, and we have authors who just are so creative, they're getting it all out of their head. So a little bit of everything.
All right. So we'd be so happy to also host them on this platform.
Oh, I would be delighted. Thank you.
We'd love, for a couple of them to kind of come and speak to the audience about what their journey's been like.
I think that is so fascinating because every author has their own journey, don't they? Everyone comes to it from a different place. And that's why I said some have always wanted to write, and some have never thought that they were writers until they got started.
So, Stephanie, I'm going to ask you this. There were people who, when we had announced that we'd be interacting with you, there were a couple of them who would send their questions on email or on WhatsApp. So, if you could take a few of them.
Sure, absolutely.
So, there is a question that's been asked by Pooja, who says that, is there any money in writing? And can it be a full-time career? Can she give up what she's doing currently and become a full-time author?
That is an excellent question, and I do get asked that a lot. Certainly, there are writers out there who are commercial writers. If you would like to write books and you would like to really think about making money about it, generally, you're going to have to think about writing a lot of books. Right? If you think about it as a reader, readers nowadays like a book series. They generally like to see that there are multiple books before they get involved. If you think about books that you read yourself for relaxation, so if you are serious about wanting to make money, I would love for you, I'm going to promote here, there's a Facebook group and there's a group that's international called 20 Books to 50K, okay? 20 books to 50K. The thought is if you want to make a living, $50,000 a year, okay, you have to have 20 books. Now that sounds crazy, but people can write those books rapidly because it's a series. So don't come to me and say, I want to make money with one book. I mean, there are people who can do that. But for most of us, think about writing a whole series of books so that people can get involved. And you'll find that you're actually enjoying it. We have many authors that we work with and that I'm fortunate enough to have on shows who are making a living at writing. Absolutely. Many writers do not have another job, okay? They are writing full time. It can be done. But you have to think of it like a business, okay? If you're going to write to make money, first of all, you have to think about your target audience. You mentioned that I teach business in different colleges. And if you want to write for a living, you have to think like a business owner. So first you have to think, what do people want to read? Do research, okay? Research what books are selling, what book series are selling, what types of characters people like, what kinds of covers, everything about your book, business. Okay? This is the problem. People want to write what they want, and I get that. But if you want to make money, you can't think about you. You have to think about the audience. And that's a bit of a disconnect. If I were talking to you about a product, like making a new business model, you'd be all about product and target market and marketing prospects and such. That's what you have to do. So yes, it can be done. We have plenty of authors that writing is all they do. But they think about the audience and marketing first before they write the books. Does that make sense? I hope for our listener, you're getting that it's a business. It's not the fun writing that we're talking about. So if you want to write for fun, then it's different if you want to make money. It can be done, absolutely. And call me. We actually are going to be having a webinar about how to write for money coming up in the new year. But it is that mindset. So I would love to have you join us.
Please do share the link. We are very sure a lot of people would love to. I'll be there for sure. Yeah. Okay, so I get this question from Murugesh, one of our members in the Ahmedabad Book Club, who asks, how hard has Kindle really overtaken the sale of paper books, hard copies?
How hard
how hard has Kindle, ebooks versus the printed book?
People thought that when the Kindle came out, we would have no more print books. They really thought that, but that's not true at all. The majority of books that are sold are print books. It is still far above 50% are print books. People want this in their hand, okay? Kindles are fabulous. And now here's the funny thing, okay? The majority of books sold are print, but most of our authors make more money on the Kindle version because The Kindle version, the digital version, the money is all profit. Okay? If you think about it, when you sell a print book, the print cost comes out of your profit, of course. Okay? When you sell the digital version, it's all profit because there's not a lot of overhead there. So the Kindle version has not gotten rid of print. People still want books, but I would absolutely recommend that when you publish print and digital, because you will probably make more money on the digital version just because it's pure profit. So please publish both. It makes sense to do both.
Right. I have a question coming in from a young mother of two twin boys. Okay, 4 year old each.
Oh, wow.
Astha asks, how do I really get my children to love books? They don't. They seem to be glued on to Xbox all through the day. How do I get them to like reading and fall in love with books?
Oh, that's a great question because it's so hard nowadays, isn't it, when we have all these electronic things? But it's a great idea to get them because sometimes the electricity goes out, doesn't it? I think the way to get
Hopefully.
well, first of all, you could always unplug that thing. That's one thing. But I think for children, what children really want to do is sit on mom's lap and read a book. You know, if books become a bonding time that you can be together, because really, you don't sit on someone's lap to play a video game. But if they can sit with you and read a book, then that would be such a special family moment that they would, in their mind, they would recognize love and books because they're loving being with you. And it's a great time to bond together. So pull them onto your lap and read books together. And maybe even write books together. You know, there are so many ways of having children make up their own story, color books, bind them together so that they can read their own books. But if it becomes a bonding moment, and I am all for parents reading out loud, not just to 4-year-olds. You know, honestly, you could read out loud to 10-year-olds. But if they see it as a time of bonding, you know, one of my favorite memories as a child, you were asking when I was a child, when I was 13 years old, 13, my parents took me and my brother and we drove all around the United States for 6 weeks. Now, we didn't have video games back then. So you know what we did in the car? We read out loud the Tolkien trilogy. You know, the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Okay, we had the books and we read them. And I played the part of Bilbo Baggins and my brother played Gandalf the Grey. And we'd pass the book back and forth and we acted out the whole story, all 3 books. And if you start in your family, you're so lucky. Your boys are just 4. So you can still put them on your lap and read to them. And then keep having books. So when I was 13, we were still reading out loud. So you can do it. 4 years old, you're so lucky. They're little. Get them to love books now.
All right. There is yet another question. So we take a couple of them, a couple more, I think. Yeah, I know you're pressed for time, but just a few more. So there is Mrinal who asks that I teach, the 4th grade at school. What would be the best way to integrate a storybook into a course curriculum? Or how can she use a storybook as some course content to teach?
That's a great question. And you know, because of people and teachers like you, so many of our books, this is one that just came out, that in the back of the book, our author put teacher resources right in the back, questions and prompts and projects for the students. So I'm so glad you asked, because lately we're doing that with all of the books we publish that are going out for young people, putting in different guided questions and projects just to make it easier for a teacher. But I would say some ideas to get you started could be to do a dramatization of the book, maybe pick a scene, act it out in class, giving out parts so that people can act out a different scene in the book. Or another good project that works with almost any book is to rewrite, have the students, maybe give them the beginning of a chapter and have them write the end of the chapter, and then compare to see if your students and the author went in the same direction. Maybe your students have more creative things to do than the author did. So for any book, there are lots of different ways to incorporate it into a classroom. I teach college now, but I've taught everything from 3-year-olds all the way up my whole life. And I love, as we talked about, drama. I love acting and plays, and take a book, turn it into a play, give it to the students. They can just highlight what they're supposed to read and act it out in class. But I'm so glad you asked, because now I promise that every Red Penguin book is going to come, the ones that are for students, with teacher's notes in the back so that teachers know what they can do in a classroom.
All right. So I think we're almost touching 9 in the night here. So I'm going to take one last question.
Sure.
So there is Shobha who asks, she wants to be a publisher. She's,
Great.
she's right. She's 50 plus. She wants to be a publisher, but she doesn't know how to start. And that she's not an author. She's not published any books herself. Yes.
Well, I'm so glad you want to be a publisher, because you can see I'm a publisher and it's my favorite thing in the world. So I want you to be a publisher too. And a lot of authors who want to have help. So please, there's so many free resources out there, online classes, ebooks, things to read. I will warn you that one thing that's tough about being a publisher is that the world is changing every day. The publishing world is changing. That makes it fun, but it makes it challenging also. So learn as much as you can. Certainly, if you can connect with us, we have all sorts of free classes all about publishing and writing. So take everything you can for free and learn what's going on. And I'm excited you want to be a publisher. I think that's fabulous.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to squeeze in a few more if you allow. There are a lot of questions I can see here. So many people have been constantly also kind of, doing a +1 on all the things that you've been saying. They find a lot of your sentences, the points you have shared to be extremely motivating. There is one question in particular that Monica asks. She says, please share some tips on editing as well, especially when the draft is just about, when the outline is finally done. So when you have the second or third draft in front of you, the finer tricks and tips of editing.
Terrific. The best thing to edit, and I mentioned earlier about using electronic means, like there are all sorts of programs, but you know what beats everything? Read it out loud. If you take your book and read it out loud, you're going to find the mistakes because you're going to say them. And even better than you reading it out loud, because you know what? If you're the author, you're going to fix things as you go. Did you ever do that? You read what you think you see? Okay. Have someone else read it out loud, or better yet, there are ways of making your computer read your text. Okay, you can put your computer on a thing. It'll sound like a computer. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, but it'll read it out loud. And computers don't fix your problems. So you'll hear the problems. So if you can make your computer read it, and if you can't do that, read it yourself. Don't just read it in your head. Say the words. and you will find all the mistakes. Every author I know who goes to a book reading and they're standing there in front of an audience and they're reading their book and they're saying, "Oh, there was a mistake." So read it out loud. That's the best editing tip I can give anybody.
All right. So there, Namita in particular sends a thank you, saying that that's an excellent tip. There's so many comments coming from Nisha, who says that bonding over books, with children, a big thumbs ups. Monica sends her regards on that as well. Uh, Okay, there's a lot of questions, and I probably request people joining us to send in few questions on email as well. I'm sure, knowing Stephanie, she'd respond to each and every single one of them. So before we kind of end, bring this talk to an end, I'm going to really thank the associated partners for the event today: the Ahmedabad International Literature Festival, the American Corner at Ahmedabad, Zaroka, Red Penguin Books, and most importantly, the head penguin at Red Penguin. Stephanie, it's been such a pleasure, indeed, and a big thank you from on behalf of all of our members, our little family.
Oh, well, thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
the little the, the little family. Yes.
And here's
Oh,
I had to at least put up my little angel to say hello to all of our viewers. She
all
sits
right.
next to me all day, so
So maybe that's the little trick that you have, yeah, up your
that's my
sleeve.
trick. This is how I get rid of writer's block. This is next to me all
There we
day.
go. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Now you know not only about not only know Stephanie, the writer, you also know Stephanie, the publisher, Stephanie, the entrepreneur, Stephanie, the professor, and Stephanie, I'd say the absolutely. I mean, I could go on and on, but thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. And we really look forward to hosting you again and also having the young writers from your mentorship program speak to us. And it's been such an honor. Thank you for taking out so much time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a
Have
pleasure.
a great weekend. Thank you.